Hey, how's it going, people? I'm yours truly, ProjectCoe.com staff writer Justin Joseph, and today I'm taking a crack at an all-new video format. I'm likely to screw up plenty, so enjoy your laughs while you can. Anyway, last week Nintendo's Japanese headquarters, along with Nintendo of America, held their respective fall season press conferences, and even though myself and two COE cohorts did a podcast about it this past Sunday that's live on iTunes, I figured I could use my expanded personal reactions as my video feature debut. You could say I'm sort of following in the footsteps of my good buddy Ahmad Mosly, whom you've also seen on our channel. I have to forewarn you though, due to the nature of what I discuss, I've had to split this feature into two videos, so please be sure you check out the other to finish hearing what I have to say about all this. You can blame YouTube's 10-minute policy, or just me for talking so bloody long. Okay, so the biggest announcement came in the respect of what Nintendo apparently thinks will kill two birds with one stone by continuing to capture the portable market and address the Wii storage problem. It happens to be the successor to none other than this. And it's unsurprisingly called DSi. Is it just me, or does it seem like the letter I is the hip way to go with naming electronics in today's market? I mean, do these manufacturers really think that I makes these devices more personal or something? I mean, think about it. iPhone, iPod, Wii? What's next? iPod DS? Anyway, the unit will include a number of new hardware features, the first of which are the two built-in 0.3 megapixel cameras. One faces you, like the current microphone does, which is situated right in the middle of the unit, right here, and the other will behave as an external camera. This edition also comes with software similar to what the Wii Photo Channel features, allowing you to, innocently screw around with some snapped photos, which is perfect for little kids, I guess, but essentially useless for us. I mean, come on, what teenager, young adult, or middle-aged gamer doesn't have a cell phone or digital camera capable of the same functionality, and often better? But I suppose some wishful thinking could be a possibility that this combo serves as a sort of integrated webcam and mic for online Wii play, and no, I don't mean that nonsense $50 game that comes with a Wii remote. It could happen, but knowing Nintendo's ridiculous online policies, not to mention the complications of multiple levels of Wi-Fi transmission, makes that relatively unlikely. Additional software includes AAC music file playback, which for all intents and purposes is just a fancy way of saying that you can channel specific tracks of a song, like the instrumentals only, vocals only, and so on and so forth. But come on, replacing your iPod or MP3, MP4 player? I don't think so. DSi will also have larger screens, which means bigger than these. More specifically, 3 inches to 3.25 inches diagonally. But a few questions arise as a result of this revelation. For one, how will this affect non-DSi specific software in terms of screen space? I mean, I'm not entirely sure how it works, but is it illogical to think that some DS games might not display properly with all the new real estate on this platform? I mean, even if that is the case, it might not be so bad, but this is an issue that might plague older DS software. Not only that, but will this really usher in the casuals that have yet to pick up a DS Lite, or Fat even, due to having a tough time reading what's on the screens? I mean, perhaps, but I doubt it'd even be that many. Think about it. DS Lite still sells in the 300s of thousands on a monthly basis in North America still. Will casual gamers want to own 2 DS products? A little less significant is the inclusion of a longer stylus, which means essentially longer than this one, which really wasn't all that bad to begin with. I mean, the DS Lite stylus is just fine for me, and the rest of COE at least, but I suppose it can't hurt for those that want more length for greater comfort to have it. Moving along, DSi will also expand on the brightness settings by having one more, 5, versus the previous 4. This will unfortunately result in 20% loss of battery life when compared to the DS Lite, not to mention an all-new charger, hooray! More specifically, regular play, which I sort of mean like middle ground brightness, compares to being about 11 to 15 hours on DSi versus about 16 to 20 on the DS Lite. But come on, really, why another setting? Are gamers really that blind? The DS Lite's maximum setting is plenty, especially in a dark setting. I mean, heck, call me an overachiever, but I'll show you myself. So let me turn out the lights here, and I'll go ahead and show you the DS Lite's maximum brightness setting. Pretty darn bright if I do say so myself, right? Oh well, what can you do? Alright, sorry about that. But perhaps more pleasing, though, will be the all-new 802.11g Wi-Fi adapter that will allow for faster wireless transmissions. I mean, you can't complain about speedier download play sessions and even smoother Wi-Fi gaming than there already is. And it's also worth noting that each screen will be touch-sensitive, meaning not only the one that we're used to, this one, but this one will be too. So we may perhaps see another all-new wave of gaming innovation. I mean, could you imagine something like Elite Beat Agents on 2 screens? Crazy possibilities there are to think about. Okay, finally, and what you're more than likely listening to me for altogether, is that Wii storage solution. And I think my associate Tim on that podcast described it best as a band-aid. DSi will sadly remove the GBA slot, which means this little puppy, in favor of an onboard SD memory card slot, which means no more Game Boy Advance compatibility. Units will ship with a default card, but others can be bought separately, obviously. And this will finally allow for downloads for the upcoming DSware service to be stored, transferable Wii Virtual Console and WiiWare downloads, in addition to the same for Wii save data. I mean, it does suck that Nintendo will likely force us to purchase proprietary cards to serve as our further memory expansion. I mean, if not, then that'd be awesome, but we all know how they feel about piracy. Overall, not a bad idea, but it definitely comes off as lazy since there's no way Nintendo can avoid putting a hard drive in the successor to the Nintendo Wii. Although, it is awesome that DS, Virtual Console, and WiiWare downloads that don't require motion control will be playable wherever you go with the DSi and its storage. However, bear in mind that DSware will have exclusive shops for all the major regions. So a question arises from that. Will they be region locked? Something to think about for you avid importers. Finally, it would appear that the Japanese asking price for the DSi translates to about $180 US. I have just one thing to say to that, and it's that the hardcore is likely not to care about anything but the new storage. So 180 Nintendo? What's most interesting to think about though, actually, what happens if this redesign flops, and yet DSi is necessary for gamers to enjoy the storage solution and DSware downloads? Not only that, but there are still so many questions surrounding this machine, and given that it's less than 1 month away from launch in Japan, it begs you to wonder if Nintendo really thought this one through. And that goes for the online point system too. Despite Wii points being changed to universal Nintendo points, both will apply to both DSware and WiiWare, and we now understand that accounts won't be linked. You'll have to have one for both services, and you won't be able to transfer balances between the two because of the way Nintendo's infrastructure is set up apparently. It's a darn shame too, because all this does is remind us of how cumbersome even friend codes are. Gamers will have to buy points for both services, and that's incredibly lame.